Tonight, the president of Botswana tries to justify why elephants must be killed. He says it's about protecting the safety of his own people. And for the UK to suggest otherwise isn't just condescending, but also brings back memories of colonialism. Here's President Masisi telling me why he thinks Britain shouldn't judge Botswana.
I wish they would be as horrified when elephants maul and maraud people. I find it unfathomable that you'd be horrified by the protection of one's livelihood, rural poor people who have allowed 40% of the country to be set aside for conservation when they defend themselves, or even when out of a lack of resources, they invite those who are well enough to own arms and hunt for trophies in a controlled, selective manner. Nothing to come close to diminishing the population, because despite the 400 elephants per year quota we are allowed by CITES, we have never come close to that.
Well,
so why aren't they horrified?
Well, again, critics say that you are not looking at the bigger picture here, that you are not thinking about the survival of this species, which is crucial to the ecosystem, the wider ecology, because elephants are seen as gardeners of the forest.
Yes, and we happen to be the ones who have kept those animals surviving. And those who are supposed to be the paragons of virtue of our gardening entitlements have none. We have the most elephants in the world in the wild. How did that come about? Now, who has greater legitimacy to proclaim capacity to play ruler or decision maker to these species? And listen to me, I mean, it is amazing that when people have in their own backyards allowed for the hunting of species and exportation of trophies, they would turn around and look at ours and say, we couldn't. We have the most elephants.
The former president of Botswana has described the practice as unethical and says that basically this has got to do with corruption right at the top.
The former president is a man on the run from corruption. Why doesn't he come here to a country he led? He knows the judicial system, he knows the processes, and defend himself. I did not accuse him. I did not investigate him. The rule of law is well entrenched and established in this republic. And he cannot be the one saying that when he knows more than anybody else that he peddled a lot of dubious things, and most of all now, untruths.
President, I also want your reaction to politicians from Botswana reportedly threatening to send 10,000 wild elephants to Hyde Park here in London.
I thought I could, credit you with a lot more humor, because my Minister of Environment, Honorable Dumize Mkulu, made that statement in jest. And he did say it was a rhetorical statement when he said 10,000 elephants released in Hyde Park. Everybody knows you're not going to be lifting 10,000 elephants to bring there. But what he was trying to
tell us what the point he was trying to make.
The point is.
Let me just stop the video there, right? Quick. One thing I noticed is what I don't like with Western reporters talking to African presidents. Whenever they speak to African presidents, they become condescending. They use a tone as if they're talking to a regular person. They don't. Sometimes I think they forget they're talking to an actual president, someone who should have decorum and respect for her, because they would not speak to their own. Like for instance, they should not speak to the king like that, or the prince, or the prime minister, like how she's talking to President Masisi. So that is the thing I don't like about it, and the tone and the way she's looking at him as if, she's trying to school him on something that he knows more about than her. So that's one of the things I don't like in these interviews. But let's continue watching.
Because we live with these elephants as we eke out our living, and you want them not controlled, you must experience the same. Put another way, come over and visit. Come and live with them. Come and live with us. All our critics, even the mover of this bill, I bet you has never set foot in Botswana to fully understand how we live and cherish our elephants.
Why do you think?
And he must thank us.
Why do you think this bill has been put forward and is up for debate?
To be honest with you, I honestly think it's condescending. I think it's really condescending. I think there have been an upsurge and a peddling of untruths about how we truly treat our elephants. A peddling of untruths of how we interact with elephants to have resulted in them being what they are. And a negation of communication about how elephants do harm to the ecosystem, how much elephants do harm to human beings who are poor, who try and eke out a living in rural, dry Botswana.
What do you think you need to do in order to clarify what you're saying are misunderstandings of the issues that you have in Botswana in terms of these elephants?
First of all, it's just basic biology and population dynamics. If a species or even a production line in a factory is unmanaged in its reproduction, they will get to a time where there's oversupply. And therefore, there will be a shortage of the resources necessary for its own survival, right? Two is that they will occupy far greater land in mass than they would if they were limited in number. Three, elephants are large, iconic, and can be very dangerous species. And if you looked at the way in which they, when come into conflict with human beings, who suffers and how they suffer, you'd never wish it upon your worst enemy.
So are you saying that hunting is essentially a form of culling?
Let me just stop the video again, one more time. This elephant situation that the UK want to pass a bill to ban when they bringing back to UK any tusk or whatever they trophy killing or what they call it. But Botswana has 130,000, as the president said, elephant in the wild, not in cages or in a specific area, in the wild. I mean, they roam the country freely. And let me just put it in context. A couple of years ago they had 50,000 elephants. Now we ballooned to 130,000. That's almost twice the amount of elephant they had a couple of years ago. So it's gonna wreak havoc on the country's infrastructure. Meaning the forests, the farms, and you have deaths. You have a few deaths that happen when people and these elephants meet, or even a tourist died in Botswana over when they was trampled by elephant. And these are one of the biggest animals roaming the earth currently. So when they move, so how is it English people gonna want to take offense to this, to population control? Australia does this every year when they do population control by granting license for people to come and kill certain animals, like the unalive animals like the wild boars, the pigs, so invasive animals that take over the country. America does this, the way they actually flew in helicopters and with pistols and with guns and shooting at animals, like wild fur, wild pigs, wild boars. I know those pigs with the teeth that come out. They hunt. In America they have deer hunting season. UK had the same thing. They used to hunt animals. Australia, UK, they have it. So how is it now they are singling out Botswana for the elephant population control, and they have to control the population of these elephants. Otherwise, they're gonna outgrow the country. Then what? Then the citizens gonna harm more citizens. They're gonna lose their vegetation because of they need somewhere to eat, and they can't go. They won't be able to travel in the country or how they feel like because of they don't want to meet up in them. So this is called, instead of they labeling it as um they are labeling it as trophy hunting. It's more of population control. So you pick off the older ones, the weaker ones, and they can pay money to get those taken out. And so that same money now is also used to continue preserving other animals as well as being a sanctuary in Botswana. So it's a win-win situation. So England has no say in this. Botswana is a sovereign country. So and the Germans are getting involved too. Really? What about they more worrying about which is and this is documented. What I'm about to say is documented. It's not just me just saying things without knowledge. Organ harvesting of black people. Why don't they more worry about that instead of worrying about elephants? There's 130,000 of them. So we need to cut that population down at least 10%. So when they get newer ones and then go up and they reproduce again, to keep that level of, we can make it balloon up to the 20,000 now. So there's way more things to worry about. Worry about their own country where they are doing the same thing to animals. And they have hunting season that they give license for these things to be done. And it's called population control. So don't acting as if it's some new one is the first time. Anyway, let's continue the video. And let me know what you think about this in the comment section. As always, tell a friend, tell a friend to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you watch the video to this far, just click the like button so it helps to enhance the channel to higher heights. So thanks for watching. But continue watching. And at the end, let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Boom, let's go.
Well, listen, culling has a connotation of ethical abhorrence associated with it because it is the indiscriminate elimination of a whole group, mother, father, grandfather, the whole herd. It's not the same with hunting. It's just a lexical difference. But the end, in terms of the
end result, is more or less, is it the same?
The end of a shoot is a death. But the difference between culling and shooting or hunting is that you pick which you hunt.
So I just want to get your reaction then. Say this debate, it's a proposed ban. If this ban does go through, your reaction to that?
I'd be abhorred, disappointed, and disturbed by, the rejuvenation of what I perceive as not just condescending and patronizing, but really a resurgence of colonial conquest. It amounts to that. We're a democratic sovereign republic, right? You have stags. Whenever did you have us passing a bill on the importation of stags? Only because we are poor, only because we don't have rich people who can go out there, hunt them, bring them here, only because our economy is so much smaller than yours?
President, I also just want to ask you, when you see very wealthy people who can afford to go out and hunt, travel to your country, and then take pictures with these dead animals, how do you feel about that?
Well, listen, I'm not the one to moralize about the posing of those persons. And yet again, that presents an opportunity for controlling that too, because some of them can be really ugly, but yet there are some which can be decent, right? And without blood all over the place. And
well, those are the images that are being seen and are horrifying people.
Well, I don't know how old those images are, because things change over time, right? But yet again, I must point out that what we have is controlled hunting. Juxtapose this against the proposition of those who are opposed to what we do. They are proposing photographic tourism. There are some places where photographic tourism just is not viable. But besides that, they never want to see the effects of only photographic tourism, where you have in the background a malnourished, emaciated child with a picture taken from an elephant or buffalo, which just ravaged a village, which ravaged a field, which killed a grandmother trying to herd her goats. you don't get that communicated by the very same people. So you get this paradoxical image where you get opulence and ostentatiousness by the rich, opulent, photographic tourists, some of them, I must say, and the poverty, abject, that's right in surrounding that. That's brought about by unwanted controlled numbers of species.
President Masisi, we're very grateful for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, but you must come to Botswana and we'll take you on a tour. You see these things.